Happy evening, everyone. Or should I say happy evening, ladies and gentlemen? Everybody is very well nice. So this topic is related to army. So can I get a Jai Hind? Oh, thank you, everyone. I feel very blessed for you. And so since the topic is how to get recommended. Now some of you might be wondering what is recommended. So in army we don't call you have get selected for the army. It's actually called recommended because that's the only second procedure of getting in becoming an officer. There's still three more like medicals as well as the merit list. A lot of people get out in medical and merit list. So it's just called recommended. So the SSB is divided into two parts. Right? First of all is the phase 1, that is screening. Now the screening is a basically entrance exam for the SSB interview. You can see the army officers are very special. So there is a special entrance exam for them, the screening test. There's another basic fact that you should know. The rate of being selected in NDA is lower than the rate of being selected in IIT. So keep in mind the people selected deserve respect. The second is the phase 2, which consists of 3 examinations: psychology, interview, as well as the group test. The psychology test tests how a person thinks, what is his mindset, and the interview, how the people would deal with other people, and how he can elaborate his words. Thirdly is the group test, which is how would the person work in a group, how well he will bond, how will he be in the future, because army is based upon divided into groups and etc. So I'm going to tell you about all these tests. First of all is the screening test. The screening is divided into 2 parts as well. The OIR. OIR is the officer intelligence test, which is basically logical reasoning test, like you can see an example of this. Okay. Next is the PPDT, which is a picture perception description test. There everyone is sit in a room, dark room, given a photo, like for example, like this, they are sitting in a room, shown a photo, which is like these particular photos. Now they have to identify the number of characters, their age, their mood, their gender, write a story based upon them. Then they are called up based upon the groups, sit in a circle, 18 members, and everyone have to as well as narrate their story and tell in a group discussion and come to a common conclusion. This is basically, screening test is basically called a luck factor. So can you control how many people would come in your group? How would be their personality or whatever? Can you? So based upon this, you cannot control what people you have. All you can do is do best in your narration as well as the story. There was a funny example that I got. There was a person in my batch as well. He actually wrote a story, a negative story. He wrote on terrorist. There were basically 3 people going, just like this particular one, few people standing, and he wrote a story on terrorist. His group discussion was very good, and he was also very active participant in narration as well as group discussion, but he got screened out. Why? Negative story. We don't require many negative mindset in the army. The third exam, then the main part of the SSB starts. First of all, on the second day, you get psychological test. Psychological test is basically nothing but just how a person thinks. Now, psychological test is divided into 4 parts. How many people? How many parts is the psychological divided into? 4. First of all is a thematic test. 11 stories are shown to you, based on which you have to write story. The 12th slide is blank. Next is word association test. A word is shown to you, you have to write a sentence on them. Situation reaction test is the third one. You have given a situation, then you have to write what you will do. It's written into broken answers. Basically, I would give you an example, like you have to be the group leader tomorrow. What will you do? So the answer would be prepare the group, give them task, motivate them, get the job done. This would be the basic example. The 4th one is just basically self-description. You have to tell what your parents think about you, what teachers think about you, what you think about yourself, what you want to be in the future, as well as what your friends think about you. Sorry. Next is the interview. Everyone here have attended interview at least once, or? Yes. Okay, so it's just like normal interview, like he would ask you normal question, what you want to be in future, but has anyone watched IS interviews? Yes. So what are the major questions? Can somebody enlighten me with the? The situations are not very much asked in the SSB. So those aren't asked either. They just take your basic knowledge, what you have, and cross question you. Like an example, I was asked as well. I was asked, why are you doing BSc, not engineering? So I said, sir, I am doing would do engineering after BSc. He's like, why not before? Why after? I'm like, sir, BSc degree also gives a very good jobs sector. Why not engineering? So he said, okay. Then tell me, what are you doing in BSc? Whatever you're reading. So he just creates pressure on you in the interview, basically to crack you. Because in army, a lot of pressure would be forced upon yourself, and he's checking. He's not a villain of you. Just you gotta understand. The next is group tests. Now the group test is based upon 9 tasks, and it is completed either in 1 or 2 days based upon your entry you have, like Air Force or Army or Navy and Naval Academy. The 8 tasks consist of, first of all, being group discussion. Like a normal group discussion, a topic is given, you have to speak up on them. You can see the first one, 8 people, 8 to 10 is a group, people sitting in a corner discussing about the topic they have. Next is group planning exercise, similar to group discussion. 4 problems are given, you have to just solve the problems. The interesting part starts from the 3rd task. You would have never seen these type of tasks in any interview. It is called progressive group task, or PGT. Here, you have to clear obstacles using 3 supportive materials, a plank, bully, and a rope. 4th, group obstacle race. You have to compete against other groups and clear obstacles as fast as possible. The next being half group task, similar to PGT. Then lecturate, similar to what I am doing. You have to give lecturate to a group. It checks your power of expression. Next task being the individual obstacle. You will be made to jump from large obstacles to check your fearlessness, your stamina, and your physical mental abilities. Then is the full group task. It is the final group task. Not much attention has been paid to it. It's just to clarify a few things by the GTO. Now I'm going to tell you how to get recommended. In army, you have to be yourself. Whatever you are, you're a beggar, you're a rich man, you have to be yourself, because they don't want a finished product, they want a raw material. Now raw material can be of multiple personalities. Army also wants person to be of multiple personality to deal with multiple tasks. Am I right? Yes. So then don't get tense or break in pressure. Interview and GTO officer would pressurize you as much as possible. They will cross-question you, they will grill you, they would ask everything that you cannot imagine. One time my friend got into the interview. So he was asked, do you have a girlfriend? He obviously replied no. Then he asked, why do you not have a girlfriend? So, it's unpredictable, you can say. Then next being be positive. Your positivity would be shown in group task, your interview, as well as the psychological, because army wants positive thinkers, not people to be negative and it's done, it cannot happen. Positive thinkers are required. Then be truthful. Those SSR will catch you. In 5 days, they will have a proper personality that you can't even imagine of yourself. They will catch you. Be knowledgeable. Knowledgeable not only of normal things like current affair, etc. Knowledgeable of how to work, household work. They ask everything. They make you do everything. They want an all-rounder. Work, listen, speak, in that order. Now I have met multiple people who just speak and do nothing. On conference day, not recommended. You have to work. Army need workers, then listeners, and then speakers, because that's how the cycle of their experience goes. First of all, you have to work, then you have to listen to the commands, then you have to give command. So that's how. Then be friendly. You have to make bonds with your group. If you don't make group bond, can you help each other if you don't make bonds? Like if you don't talk with each other, can you do anything? So being friendly is the most important aspect in army as well as the interview. So these are the OLQs, meaning officer-like qualities. These 15 qualities are checked. But not every criteria has to be filled. Because in 5 days, a person cannot be decided if he fills all the criterias. If 13 are filled, they would recommend you. They are there for recommendation cause their lack of officers. So now some tips that I have earned from 2 SSB experiences. First of all is the screening test. There are 2 types of tests, as we all know, OIR and PPDT. So the OIR, we can only practice the logical reasoning, there's nothing else. Second is PPDT. We can have a positive story. As I told the example of the person who got screened out, he had a negative story. If you don't have a positive story, they won't take you. Then narrate flawlessly. Now I have to thank Shrikant sir for this, cause in my latest SSB, I was actually able to narrate very flawlessly. That's why I got screened in. Thank you, sir. Now, next is the psychological test. Psychological test you have is actually based upon your personality and your mindset. The only thing you can practice is writing speed. Cause if you don't write properly, they have to be each story of 100 words within 4.5 minutes. If you don't write it, story would be missed, you won't be selected. That's all. Interview. Now interview, they usually ask what instances you have, instances what you have. Like if he talks about the strength you have, can you tell me your strength? Any instance? So these type of question would be very much asked in the interview. Tell me about the instance. If you get stuck, the person would be like, you're lying. So have instances ready before. Then smile is a must. In interview, they want livelihood, talking to each other, very nice, friendly person. So smile is a must. Be truthful. He will catch you. If you lie, he will catch you. If he is asking too much questions based upon the topic, you can know that he is very much aware that you might be lying. Now it is handle your nerves. The interview is based like 5 to 6 meters away. So if your leg is shaking or everything, he can definitely see, and he would see. It's a reason why the interview is being conducted at such a distance. Now is the group test. Group test, speak less, work more. They want workers, not speakers. They can get speakers for that. Next is being active. If you're not active enough, you would be left in the, you would be usually called a leader, not a leader. And you would be left in the dust holding the heavy load. Then is bond before task. You have to bond with the group you get. The group tasks are usually on the last day, so you have to bond properly to know how each other they work. Who would be ahead, who would be speaking the most, who would be quiet. Then crush the pressure. Don't crush under the pressure. The GTO is the one who creates the pressure the most. He would be on you every time. Like this obstacle is red. You can't, the bully is broken, you can't use it, the rope is tan. He would create pressure because he want to check how much you can handle the pressure. Now, a lot of people don't get recommended. The recommendation rate is about 5 to 10%. Now here are the few things why people are not recommended. First of all is limelight seekers. They usually go and want to be the one to be selected. Army don't want limelight seekers. They don't want person to get awards. They don't want person to work for the awards, but work for the nation. I have also seen a person who was a limelight seeker. He was usually going ahead with the plank and bully, and we just made a strategy against him. ये जो बोलेगा इसका नहीं करना. He didn't get recommended. I was more happy he didn't get recommended than I got not recommended. I'm not gonna lie. Speaking only. If you only speak and you don't do anything, they won't be recommended. Even rickshaw wala speaks, but he's not Modi ji, is he? Not cooperative enough. If you are not cooperative enough, what's the point? The army is based upon cooperation, discipline, and confidence. How will you be? Now cracks under pressure. If a person, I've seen a person like sweats his arm, gets shaky, drops bully, gets angry because the GTO, he won't be recommended as well. A lot of pressure is imposed upon the officers in the army. He won't be recommended. Now it is lack of bonding with the group. Live example, a person didn't talk to us at all. At the day of the GTO task, he was just speaking, and all of us were surprised, like, what are you saying? We can't just listen to a person who was confident enough. Now there are some people who think they are above the officers. I've heard a person, he came straight to me and said, "Bhai tera nahi hoga, mera hoga." Didn't get recommended. Officer, they actually, assessors see what kind of personality you are. They want well bendable and flexible personalities, not the one who thinks they are better than others. Then it is the luck factor. Luck factor. It is very slight, but it is the one that makes difference. The reason being, there are 3 assessors only assessing you. Now you can't control the group you get. They only catch slight instances and they fail you or pass you. In 5 days, how can you define a person's personality? After I got recommended out, I was sad. One of the officers, not the assessors, other officers who were working in SSB, because I knew him, came to me and said, "Beta, हर एक में officer होता है, वापस आओ, हो गए." He said to me that I have known people who have been recommended at their 13th SSB, 15th SSB, and 16th SSB. But if I would like to suggest all of you to at least give the SSB once. 5 days you would enjoy your life away from the tensions, as well as you would know a very different type of interview that is being conducted in the army. So any questions from your side? So thank you.